Hey, what's up, guys? It's Brian here from Full Body Athletics, but most importantly, Upgrade Mentality. And today it's episode 30, and I chose the episode 30 to have this person specifically on the podcast for the 30th episode. Today, I'm with one of my clients, one of my athletes, okay, Peter Abbandonato. Peter Abbandonato is a great athlete, okay, a great hockey player, professional hockey player, having played for Roy Noranda, Syracuse Crunch, Laval Rocket, Chicago Wolves, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and now officially in Jukurit in the Finnish Liga League, okay? So, Peter, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So, Peter, I've been training you now for at least, how long now? 2-3 months?
Yeah, at least 2-3 months.
2-3 months, and it's been a long journey, okay? I got to know you as a person. I felt like we get a lot of insightful information from getting you on the podcast. So that's why you're here. Thank you so much for being with us first and foremost. So, Peter, before getting started, before getting to the deep questions, let's start with the more global questions. How was your childhood? Tell me about yourself. Where did you grow up?
Mom and dad, Greek. Dad's Greek. Dad's Italian, mom's Greek. Born and raised in Laval. Grew up playing here. Went to school in Laval. Played all my sports, soccer, hockey in Laval. Just honestly a Laval native, and I know that's where I am still today.
Perfect. And what school did you go to, like high school? And
so I went to an elementary school, like Dimosteni. It's like a Greek-French elementary school.
Okay, so very Greek.
My mom's Greek, kind of forced me. We did a bit of Italian school on Saturdays, but that didn't last long because once you start playing a bit of competitive hockey, like games are on Saturday morning. So we kind of stopped that after like 2-3 years. I went to high school here, Laval Liberty, Laval Laurier Senior,
okay.
Laval Catholic, back in the day. So I did my 5 years there. And then after finishing high school, I left for Roy Noranda at 17 years old to pursue my hockey career and continue schooling in BCB.
Perfect. So obviously from a young age, you probably noticed that you were better in sports than most kids, okay? When did you first notice, maybe it was a competition or a tournament or maybe a game where you played as a young kid and being like, wow, I can probably make this as a career, or probably I can go far in this sport?
So like when you're growing up, I don't know, like as a kid, like you're always competitive. At least I was as a kid growing up. I never liked to lose.
Guys, very competitive. Competitive is an easy word, but trust me, he's more than competitive. But yes, continue.
Still don't like to lose till this day. Competitive with my friends, with my brother, with people I know, random people I meet on the street. So growing up, I don't know, I just, maybe when I saw I was running faster than someone in soccer or I was skating around someone in hockey, that's when you see like, wait, like I actually have something. And then don't get me wrong, like growing up, like you make teams, like in the summer it's like AAA teams where you want to like make an elite team. And I was always part of the elite team, and I was already part of the elite team, and then I was kind of like surpassing certain players, and I was like on like the top of the cream when I was playing with the young guys. But that was so that's when I realized that, like maybe I like go far in something and like see where it takes me. But then when you get to midget and like they're like 3 years older than you and you play with 16, 17-year-olds, then when you get to junior and they're like you're 16, 17 and they're 19, 20, I wouldn't say it's a bit of like a wake-up call, but you see like, hey, like the tunnel's getting much tighter, and once the tunnel gets tighter, that's when you see it's a lot more competition. The game gets harder. That's when you see where the best players type to like succeed. So when I got to that point, that's when I was like, wait, like there's better players than me in the world. There's better players than me, my age group. So I got to keep putting in a lot of work, keep working hard, and just like trying to perfect my craft.
Nice, man. Long answer, but I really liked the answer because I think it doesn't happen overnight, right? It's not one game that's gonna define you because like you've had a illustrious career, right? You probably know that a lot of kids can one game blow up, a la Ryan Poehling, right?
Yeah.
That scored 4 goals for the Habs for his opening game with the Habs, and then he never ended up being the player that we thought he was gonna become. But you see it throughout the years and just your evolution. Talk about evolution, right? Your parents were, I imagine, a big part of this evolution, okay? What lessons did you learn from your parents towards you? Because being a parent of a young, talented athlete sometimes can be difficult because as the kid becomes better, our expectations for him grow also. So your parents, how did they deal with it? Like that expectations, and also what lessons did you learn from them raising you that you're probably going to translate to your children?
One thing my parents always told me: when you agree to something, you put 100% of your effort into it. So growing up, I never played individual sports; always played team sports. Playing soccer or hockey, if I agreed to play the sport, my parents always said you got to give your 100%.
100%.
With that being said, I think I owe my whole career to my parents. You know, like raising two boys, dad working, mom working, both sons playing hockey, me and my brother, both sons playing soccer, running around like crazy, but trying at the same time giving us the best possible chance to enjoy or like live a dream. You know, like me and my brother used to be in the garage, put a bicycle in front of the net, and think we're like the Sedin brothers, like, you know, we're in the Stanley Cup Game 7 OT winner, you know, like celebrating. And like, obviously, like you're in the garage, but your parents still hear you, you know, like the floors aren't soundproof, you know? So they tried, like my parents tried their best to like give me and my brother like the best opportunity too. But at the same time, they didn't put too much pressure on us when we were kids until I would say it got really competitive. We're Bantam, midget, AAA, coming around that area. My parents just let me like have fun, like, you know what, enjoy the game. You have other hobbies, enjoy your hobbies. You know, they didn't shove hockey down my throat. They didn't shove soccer down my throat. I love playing soccer. I was a really good soccer player at the same time. So in the summer, it would be like just soccer, and in the winter would just be hockey. Don't get me wrong, like I still go on the ice. I would still go on the ice as a kid in the summer, but nothing like it is today. Today it's a lot of kids play hockey like 12 months of the year.
Which is, sorry to interrupt you, but I think, the jury is out on that notion. A lot of trainers, a lot of high elite coaches, they believe that kids should be playing other sports, not just hockey, in order to become a better hockey player. Like those examples of like John Tavares, that is like a really elite lacrosse player. Like even his uncle is one of like the best lacrosse players of all time. Steven Stamkos, another that's really, really good. There was numerous players. Even heard a story like Pacioretty was a really good soccer player too. So it was like there's a lot of stories of at least back in the day of good players, or Skinner, that's a really good ice skater, right? Jeff Skinner. And a lot of players during the year, they would play other sports in order to complement. In your opinion, do you think playing other sports is better for you growing up? Does it translate better? Yeah,
it's the best thing. I think I found, like, growing up, the fact that I played soccer facilitates the fact that we're like, now compared to hockey, if I get a pass in the feet, I don't panic because I'll just pick it up with my feet, because it's like soccer, pick it up with the feet. A lot of hockey players play baseball for hand-eye coordination, you know. Lacrosse, because it's something like hockey, but it's more on your feet. A lot of different sports. Definitely, if growing up, I'm pretty like like my parents always let me do what I wanted to do and play hockey. But at the same time, if I would get punished or if I had bad marks, my parents are kind of big on school. Like, hey, like the chance of playing in the NHL is quite low, or making a professional career is quite low. So make sure you go to school and have a plan B. Sure. So they never punished me if I had something wrong with like school or something, or I don't know, as a kid you're a little like a little rebel, you know. So they never punished me team sports, because that means my parents always said you're punishing the team. You know, like if you're involved with a team, you're gonna be there no matter what. But whatever, I got punished in other ways, losing, sure. You know, like losing other stuff I used to like be given to. But that's definitely it. Like my parents taught me, like, well, if you do something, give it your 100%.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, those lessons are important. You know, that your parents were able to introduce those values to you of being like, no matter what you do, give your 100%, because it's obviously very translatable in everything you do in life. Either it's sports, either it's picking up a good habit, either it's starting a new project. You know, doing your best is what's most needed. And I think like if you weren't at that level, I don't think your parents, from what I hear here, your parents wouldn't have pushed you more to become something that maybe you weren't interested in, or maybe you weren't as good as you are today.
You know, so but when I reached a certain point, like I wouldn't say my parents. I guess parents do see if your kid has an opportunity.
Right.
So when I reached midget, my parents were like, okay, like I'll give him the extra training. We'll get this, we'll get that, you know. So they did kind of push me towards the end, like give me everything, like every opportunity, every chance possible to become a better hockey player at a young age, to get the opportunity to play high level. So like once I reached, I would say 14 years old, I had to decide between playing hockey and soccer. So I quit soccer. I played soccer for fun. I just concentrated more on hockey. And from there on, like my parents like put in a lot of like time and effort and money to try and like make me the best hockey player possible.
Wow. So once they found out that you had that potential, they went, let's say, all in. Not all in, but at least like, you know, halfway in. You know what I mean?
No, like I mean, like back then, hockey wasn't as expensive as it is today.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty expensive now to play hockey and coaching, whatever. But no, definitely like putting me with the best coaches possible and putting me like in the gym and start training and everything. So yeah, around 14 years old, I would say.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So in 2019 with Rwanda, you won your first Memorial Cup, okay? But in reverse, in 2016, you had lost it. What lessons did you learn from that conquest? Because from winning in 2019, being an older player, from losing in 2016, what did it show you, and what lessons did you able to take from that conquest?
Yeah, definitely. My 4 years in Reina Rwanda, like the thing I learned the most was you don't win unless you're a family. You won't succeed unless you're a family. When you get pro, there's European guys, there's North American guys, Canadian guys, whatever. Like, there's a kind of some cliques around. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, there's some cliques when you play professional hockey. But when we were in the queue in those 2 years I won, I learned the most is that the chemistry in the dressing room is what's most important. If you're not gonna fight for the guy next to you, and the guy's not gonna fight for you, well, you're not gonna win.
No chance,
you know. That's in everything in life. At the gym 100%. Here, if you don't have a right crew working for you here, the gym's gonna fold. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I learned. You know, like you play 90 games to win the whole Memorial Cup. You got to play at least 90 games.
It's crazy.
Depending on the playoffs, obviously, but that means you're 90 games. That's a lot of days with the same guys.
Yeah.
Same 22 guys. You know, so you just become a family. And the first one was a heartbreaking. You know, we lost 3-2 in OT. We're up 2-1 with 2:50 on the clock. We played a good team. We played Marner, Dvorak, Kachuk, those London Knights guys. They had a really good team. You know, we had a good team ourselves. You know, we had like Timo Meyer in our team, and we had a lot of top guys that like played in the American League after, not NHL like those guys. But we definitely had a good team. And then in 2019, we were like the best team in the CHL for like a while. We won 25 straight during the regular season.
Shit.
We had a really good team, and. You know, we were down 2-0 at one point in the game in the finals, Memorial Cup. And like we're like, you know what, it's a Memorial Cup, but we've been here before. You know, sometimes you lose 2-0 in a game, and like I think there was like halfway through the second, maybe right after the first, we were down 2-0, something like that. And you know, like we've been here before. We scored one goal. I think momentum. We scored 2 goals. And it's the second intermission, and we're in the dressing room, and it's a Memorial Cup. It's the last game, you know. You win or lose, like it's the last game. There's nothing other than this, you know. And we just like, you know what, like we were just like laughing, like we're not laughing, but like we were serious, but we weren't like too serious. Where you're not enjoying the game anymore. At the same time, we told ourselves,
it's your last year of junior for most of them.
Yeah, it's my last year junior. It's my last game junior. You know, might as well just go out there and have fun. And we went out there in the third period, 2-2 game, and we ended up winning 4-2. I scored the game-winning goal to make it 3-2, and you know, like probably the most important goal of my career at the moment. And you know, like it's such an extraordinary feeling, like win the President's Cup, win the Memorial Cup. You know, like winning with a team, and it's a great feeling as a player and as a team. Like it's not forgettable.
Yeah. So I think the biggest lesson you got from that was just like, you cannot win without a solid team and a solid foundation. You know what I mean? And you cannot win without a strong group. And you see that in business, in the most successful businesses, and not just in sports, right? The most successful businesses have the best managers.
Yeah.
And the best managers often have great teams under them, and et cetera, right? So for people that know, because we're talking a lot about hockey, the Memorial Cup, for you guys who are listening, maybe they're from abroad, okay? The Memorial Cup is the cup. So basically, in the CHL, which is the Canadian Hockey League, you have three leagues, right? You have the Western Hockey League, the Ontario Hockey League, and you have the Quebec Junior Major Hockey League. In those leagues, the winner of every league, so in his case, Ronaldo was the champion of the QGMHL, went against the two best teams, one of Ontario and the champion of Western Hockey League, and the team that hosts the cup, right? So it's a tournament of how many games?
You could play. You play every team once.
That's a fourth game.
A fourth game, and then the best team of the round robin goes right to the finals, and you play the worst team is out.
Okay.
And then two plays three, and then one goes right to the final.
Okay, perfect. So in any case, guys, it's one of the hardest cups to win in hockey in general. So great accomplishment, especially that in his short junior league career, 3 years, he ended up going twice. So you're pretty lucky enough, right, to have that opportunity. Because some people they go and they never make it, and they have great NHL careers, some of them, and they never just make it to the Memorial Cup. So in the recent years, okay, we've seen it yearly by yearly. Well, this year, this upcoming year is actually a good year for the Q, right? The Quebec Junior Major Hockey League. In the last years, there's a lot less Quebec-born major junior hockey players that are being drafted. To a point, there's a lot of Quebec-born players that are often going to the USHL, to afterwards playing the NCAA, and maybe other leagues, okay? In your opinion, okay, because you've played in the minor leagues, right? How can we make it better? Because from what I've seen in the last years, there's been quite a dip in the quality and the quantity of Quebec-born hockey players. So what, in your opinion, how can we make the system better? It's a tough question, right? It's a good question.
Honestly, the coaches we have here are good. We have good coaches in Quebec. The facilities, they're a bit older. Are they the facilities they have in the United States? No. You know what I mean? The States or the facilities they have in Ontario? No. You know, facilities in Ontario are quite more advanced than we do. I don't think I would say there's a reason why. I just think a lot of the top players now go to these big teams. You know, like why do a lot of Quebec guys go to the States? You know, like don't get me wrong, a lot of players now, it's hard to make it pro more than ever right now. You know, there's so much competition out there. Being able to go NCAA, you know, it's not a bad path. It's probably the right path. It's probably if I have a kid tomorrow, that's the path he's taking. Like, I would want him to take, unless he's going first overall, go get an education, go get 4 years. Because a lot of people are late bloomers. You know, a lot of guys don't really like bloom at 18 years old. You know, like so you have more time going NCAA. You have more time to sign a contract after getting drafted into the NHL.
True.
So this definitely helps, but I would just say like, just probably more consistency. You know, like getting the right coaches. You know, like there's a lot of good coaches out there, and you gotta get the right coaches. Either it's in the gym or it's skill coaches, off-season training. I think there's a lot of good coaches to say for teams out there in Quebec that have a good hockey mind. But I think it's coming down to the off-season. It's what you do off the ice and what you do individually. It was what I think is making a massive difference. Where like let's say the USHL team, that USNDP program in the States, those guys stay together all year. They train together, they play together, the off season's pretty much more or less together.
Right.
They always have the right coaches like following them everywhere. I think for that reason, they're exceeding and they're just developing faster than us players from Quebec. And same thing for the OHL. Like I went to do a 2-week stint in Ontario with a skill coach, and he brought me to a place where the school is just hockey. The school is in a hockey arena. Their gym class is ice hockey every day. They're in the gym every day. They're on the ice every day. They're maybe on the ice twice a day.
Wow.
You know, so
that's crazy.
At the same time I was doing schooling. So like if your class is in an arena, you don't have to go anywhere. You know, so I just think those little things, those little details really matter. But like you said, it's a huge year for the Q. We do come out with really good talent.
Yes.
You know, when there's good talent, it really comes out. There's a huge year for the Q this year, and you know I'm excited, and hopefully like you know the Q is always known as to be the worst league of the three CHL out of the 3 leagues in the CHL. I don't know why, because you've won the Memorial Cup 4 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that boggles my mind. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. but hopefully, you know, like puts us back on the map and starts getting Quebec-born players out there.
Yeah, for sure. In 2019, after winning your Memorial Cup, right, with Rwanda, you had your first pro camp in Vancouver, right? And Vancouver invited you as an invited player for their pro camp. Okay, how was your transition from the Q to the AHL to the pro leagues? But also, how was your first camp? So if you can just
So my first camp was in 2018, right before I won the
2018,
cup. So my first camp was 2018. I got invited to Vancouver. I didn't know what to expect. You go there pretty much in the best shape you can. You know, it's mid off season, so there's not really you're in certain level like points of your like off season training.
right.
So you go there and Vancouver has one of the hardest development camps
Is it
in the NHL.
Sorry, is it like Camp Perfectionnement or is it like a camp?
No, it's a 1 week camp.
1 week camp.
On ice training, off ice training, a lot of testing. So we did a lot of testing in Vancouver. You meet a lot of guys. You saw Ryan Kessler, you see Sedin brothers. You know, you saw NHLers that were still there. They're in Vancouver. That just trained in Vancouver. So it's pretty cool to see those guys and see how they train and everything. So it was definitely a fun time. After Vancouver, that was in July. I got invited to St. Louis Blues camp in September. Where now you're on the ice with all the top guys. You know, you're on the ice with like Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly and all these big guys. You know,
Wow.
and you see the level difference. You know, like the people say, "Oh, you're right there." Like now, when I played in the American League, "Oh, you're right there." The next step, but this step is huge. You know, it's not like a regular step, like you know, like you're walking up the stairs. You know, it's like it's a huge step, and the game is completely different. It's changed so much. And it's kind of cool to see, you know, because as a kid you watch these guys growing up, you play with them in the game NHL and everything, and like you know, like, and then you see them on the ice, and you're like, first of all, you're in awe, you know, like holy, I'm on the ice right now with these guys, and then you're like, wow, these guys are like
On
next
fire.
level good, you know. So it's definitely pretty cool for that. Yeah, that's probably the coolest moment. Like, you just get to be on the ice with like your idols, in other words, you know, like guys you look up to your whole life, and you see how much the game's changed and how much harder it gets at that level, and you see like the best players junior don't become the best players in the NHL because it's so competitive, but it's the best players in the NHL, you see what kind of level they're on, definitely.
For sure. So, you spoke about Tarasenko. You spoke about the Sedin brothers, etc. You played with famous players, right, or at least practiced with famous players. What pro habits off and on the ice that they had that maybe separated from the rest of the pack? What did you see that was different?
Some guys are just
Besides the talent.
yeah. Some guys are just naturally gifted. You know what I
Right.
mean? My first year when we won the Memorial Cup, Timo Meyer, he was 9th overall pick to San Jose. Phil Myers played for the Flyers. Jeremy Lauzon plays for Nashville. And you see those guys, the way they prepare every game, day in, day out. They eat right. They have the right habits, the right routine. They take care of their body. But like guys like Timo Meyer, he was just like
A freak.
he was a specimen, man. Like he was like a refrigerator at like 18 years old. He was huge. He was so strong. It was kind of crazy. But on the ice, you see like he was super nice. Me and him, we used to stay after practice. He used to teach me how to like try to get a heavier wrist shot or trying to work on stuff, on puck protection and stuff. And you see like I was a 17-year-old kid. He was 18, and the difference it was. It was definitely pretty cool to see. Like definitely Timo Meyer in my last year. When we won, I played with like Noah Dobson,
Right.
Harvey Pinard, Teasdale. You know, like Jakob Blocko. He plays in the NHL also now. And those guys were like, especially Dobson. Like the skating part of his game is what really makes him who he is. He has
You see it today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you see
70
it.
points last year,
Yeah,
right?
you know,
In
exactly.
In 72 games with not a top tier team, you know.
No,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like middle of the pack team, I would say, you know, Islanders. So to get 70 points with a team like that, what would you have done playing for a team like Colorado or maybe
Yeah.
playing for a team like, you know, a top team, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. Like Noah Dobson, the way he plays the game, he's just fluent, clean skater, great mind. You know, and like if you could like improve your skating, and you're a good skater, like it takes you a long way.
Yeah, 100%. So if you had maybe something to suggest to parents is maybe like if you had something to focus, like a skill to focus on in hockey would be skating.
Skating, yeah, especially young. If you have young kids, like you said, Jeff Skinner, like
Right.
incredible skater.
Incredible.
He must have done figure skating when he was.
Well, he
a kid.
was. I think
a
his
figure.
mom was an Olympian figure skater,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
And you see him like when he skates out there,
Incredible.
like, he flies, you know. So definitely from a young age, if you could put your like son or daughter into like a skating or to improve their skating, it definitely will help them in the long run because it's the most important part of hockey.
And especially how fast hockey got in the last years,
Yeah,
right? Like,
definitely.
how fast the game has gone. Like, I've been watching hockey maybe since 2000 and maybe 9, 10, around there. Like, really, like, paying attention to hockey. And just from 2010 to now, like, the how fast the game became and how young guys are retiring now, you know, compared to,
Yeah.
like, before you had players that were 42, 43 retiring, right? Like, you know, like Chelios, your cousin, you know?
Yeah, my cousin.
Like Chelios, you know, Chelios, he played until what, 42, 42?
Yeah.
He would never have been able to play
No.
at 42, 42 game. Unless, I mean, you can play with a great IQ, right? If you have like a great hockey mind and you can, you know, be able to read the ice and know where the puck is going versus running
Yeah.
after the puck, you know, I guess like players like Suzuki can be a bit of a slower player, but able to play with that, in that speed, right? But his mind is so quick that it ends up catching up to
Yeah.
the speed, you know? But I think practicing or at least training your kid in like skating as a skill for hockey, and that's why you see a lot of European players being really excelling really well at skating,
Yeah.
right? Because they focus so much, probably because of bigger ice,
Yeah, definitely.
but also I think it's just culture too. They focus a lot on skating. Like I heard stories of like in the Russian leagues, in the minor leagues, like some kids like if they have 3 practices a week, like 2 practices are solely on just skating.
Yeah.
And like 1 practice on like game and, you know, strategy and whatnot. So pretty impressive. Perfect. If you were a parent today and introducing your kid to hockey, what would be your advice? Because I have a lot of parents, like we just finished a summer camp for kids, and a lot of parents had kids playing in soccer or hockey. But let's stick to hockey because it's your it's your fromage. So what advice would you give to a young parent, maybe seeing that his kid has talent, and also like give me a perspective of a parent, because you work with parents also that probably knew their kids weren't going to make the NHL, right? You know,
I mean,
let's
yeah,
be honest
some
with
of
you.
them, yeah.
Most of them, right?
Most of them, yeah.
But you've also worked with parents that maybe were working with a kid that has a lot more talent. As a parent, how do you deal with both situations? Let's start with maybe
for
if your kid has
both?
talent, like a lot of talent, and you can see it.
First thing for both, until they reach as a teenager, just let them be.
Yeah,
You know,
for
let
sure.
let them have fun, man. Like you're a kid, you know, you don't even know what you want to do yet. And
Yeah.
I know so many kids that growing up that were like right there next to me or better than me, and then just when they got to a certain age, they burn out and they're just like they lose the passion because they were like it was forced down their throat, and like at one point they're like, man, like I don't even enjoy doing this anymore. So for that, like just let the kids be, like let them have fun, like they're kids. It's not serious yet at your age.
Right.
You know, like you're not gonna put them into off-ice training yet. You're not gonna make them do deadlifts or anything. Like let them do play all the sports possible. Let them get like coordinated within their own body. You know, that's why gymnastics is a great thing. Definitely, if I had a kid, young kid, 4 or 5 years old, he would be doing gymnastics to learn his body.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, if you see your kid has like the potential to like make it far, I think once you become a teenager, like that's what once I become a teenager, my parents signed me up in the gym, started doing a lot of body weight stuff, started running around, started training like your kid program more or less, and you know, just give them the best opportunity to play. And if your kid doesn't have that right potential right away, like don't give up on him, because a lot of guys are late bloomers. You know, like you see a lot of guys today like go to college and like they come out of college at 24 years old and you know.
Well, Jake Evans.
Oh yeah, Jake Evans.
Jake Evans is a great example of that. For you guys that don't know, Jake Evans is Montreal's fourth centerman,
Yeah,
right?
fourth line
He's
center.
a true fourth centerman, and he had played his NCAA career in Notre Dame, and he was a 7th-round pick. And I don't know for you guys, in the NHL, there's 7 rounds, and when you're picked 7th, the odds of you even playing in the AHL, regardless of the NHL, is very low. and now he's a full-timer playing in NHL. He's been playing now for 3 years, and he's one of Montreal's maybe most underrated players because he doesn't have that. He doesn't have Suzuki's IQ. He doesn't have Caulfield's shot. Doesn't have Slavkovsky's size, right? But he brings a different. Brings a sandpaper and smarts to the game that's underrated. And he came out of the NCAA with 22, 24, having played in the Frozen Four and whatnot. And he became a lot better player than he was at, let's say, 19, 18 years old.
Exactly, 100% like that. Like, you know, like some players get it right away, some players don't get it right away.
Right.
So I just think, like, if he doesn't have it right away, keep pushing him. You know, if he doesn't want it anymore, not obviously do keep pushing, but giving him the opportunity to get better.
Right.
You know, like, if he doesn't want to do it anymore, he'll tell you, hey, mom and dad, like, I'm just not feeling it anymore. Like,
he's gonna.
I want to move on to other things that I enjoy. You know, like, you know, you're not gonna play hockey forever. You know.
Right. Unless your name is.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying some guys just don't enjoy playing it forever.
Right, for sure.
So I think I'll give them the same opportunity. Some kids have it. You see them, they bloom earlier. Maybe push them a bit harder. If not, don't stop pushing them. Keep pushing them. But at the same time, let them play other sports. You know, like how many guys? I saw something in the Olympics. Some like Olympian started playing the sport that he's challenging for, like at 14 years old. You know, like just let him let him have fun. Let him find what he loves to do. Like as parents, we don't want our sons to do wrestling. We don't want our sons to do certain stuff. But like as they grow and they see and they maybe find passion for another sport, like let them tell you, like you know, like as a regular kid, like I don't know, like I made the decision myself to quit soccer and play hockey, but that was my decision. Looking back, thankfully it worked out. But
it worked out really good.
But you know, like that, my parents didn't force me to say, hey, no, you're gonna play hockey, or no, hey, you're gonna play soccer. They let me like make the decision myself, because you know, like I know you're young and you know, but you at the same time in your heart, like you enjoy one sport more than the other. So that was my opinion.
Beautiful. You're officially signed with Jokerit from the SM Liga, right? In the Finnish Elite League. How are you excited about this opportunity? We know that obviously your goal was to stay in North America, stay in the AHL, but this is a dream for most hockey players. Okay, what's your expectations for the year? What's your expectations for the league, and what's expectations for you as a player playing in this new environment, in this new team?
Yeah, I definitely want to go over there and like it's a new experience. You know, like I don't know, the time change, 7-hour difference, family, friends. You know, so that's gonna be a pretty fun experience. Living in a Finnish country in Finland, definitely they have a different routine than we do in North America.
For sure.
But for myself, on the ice, I just want to be like the same hockey player I'm here. You know, like do what I do best, be a positive player on the team. I don't speak Finnish, but I won't be able to be a leader with my vocally, but I'll be able to hopefully like be a leader like with my actions, you know.
Yeah.
So that is a key for me. I want to be a winner, man. I love to win. No one likes to lose, you know. Yeah. So my goal for a team is to go out there and like win as many games as possible. Have a good playoff push, hopefully, potentially. My goal was to stay in North America, but you know sometimes you just find a different path. But all paths lead to Rome, you know?
Yeah,
all roads lead to Rome.
Exactly.
So, like, the goal is to come back. When I spoke with the coach, he goes, I'm happy that you're hungry to come back. We want players like that. So, if I come back, if I don't come back, you know, at least I'm doing the thing I love to do the most, you know, play hockey, compete out there and just, like, have fun. And it's a good organization, you know, like, they're well-respected. Hopefully I'm able to like grow as a man, as a mature, live on my own, and no, I'm excited for that for sure.
Amazing. Well, listen, Peter, thank you so much for being on the Upgrade Mentality podcast. My words on Peter as an athlete and also as a client here at Fubani, as a friend also. A great person, I think, like we were mentioning before, I think this summer was the summer that you actually, I think it takes, like you said, maturity for certain players, and I think like this year was a year of maturation for you, and I think like you had pro values, I would say, but you didn't have pro habits yet quite. And what I mean by pro habits is the off-ice work, right? The getting in the training like every day, working on the physio every day, working on your weaknesses as much as your strengths. And I think that's something where I really knows that's this summer. And from what people also tell me, that this summer you didn't want to play. And I think you really made a turn in your career. And maybe sometimes looking to the finish league may look like a back step, but I think in your case, it's much more of a side step going forward. So Peter, thank you so much for being at the Upgrade Mentality podcast, episode 30. Guys, I just want to thank you guys. A lot of great information we got from today's talk. Thank you, Peter, once more for being on the podcast. And if you want to go check out Peter, you can go on HockeyDB and look him up, Peter Abbandonato. Peter, thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian.